Hi Michelle, this is Alana. We're going to go ahead and jump right into your website review. And when I go through these, I typically look at kind of the 6 most common mistakes that I find on websites. So as I go through it, I will mention if I see anything that jumps out at me, and then we will start from there. So if you have any questions afterwards, just let me know, but we'll jump right in. So the first thing that I want to, so I see a pop-up already. I haven't done anything. So let's talk about this. Keep in touch. Sign up now for your 10% off coupon code. This offer can be used at any time with any products. Join our beauty club and enjoy occasional emails with new products and trends. So my first reaction to this is it came up way too soon. I haven't even done anything with your site. I landed on it and I already have a pop-up. I typically recommend that this is delayed either by time or on how far down the page they are or on exit. So typically I would say, at least halfway down the page before your pop-up appears, or as they are, when they move their mouse to go from here to here, like if they're going to go close the window, then the pop-up would appear. So when they are moving their mouse outside of the window frame, that's when that might show up. So for now, I'm going to close it. I'm not prepared to sign up. I don't know who you are or why I would sign up for this yet. But the other thing that I would say, just looking at this is a lot of text in here. It feels like it's a lot going on. So I'm not really sure what your main goal is. Like, it looks like you have 10% off, first of all. But then you also have joining the beauty club with occasional emails regarding new products, trends, and promotions. You also have a lot of ands in here. So beauty club and enjoy occasional emails and trends and discounts. So there's a lot happening. Just tell me what's going on. So maybe that's a bullet point instead of this paragraph form, but then also make this 10% much bigger. You have your sign up button is huge, but your pool of 10% off and more discounts if you sign up is buried. So I would rearrange that a little bit differently. But I'm going to close that because I'm not quite ready to sign up just yet. So the first thing I do is when I land on a site, I try to determine if I know what you do. That is typically the first mistake people have is, you literally have less than 5 seconds to tell me if I know what you do or to tell me what you do. And if I don't know what that is within 5 seconds, I'm probably going to leave. So let's just look at this top part here. We have Florencia Beauty, what you put on your skin matters. This is a great kind of catchy phrase. I love that. I would probably make that bigger and make your name a little bit smaller. It may not matter that much, but this could actually be here as well. So more into the middle and center of your page. Plant-based, nature-inspired skincare that delivers real results you can see and feel. I love that as well. I'm just not really sure what that means. So my curiosity makes me want to go down further. So that's good. What I would probably recommend is making this your phrase and making that bigger. So maybe this is your large header tag that's up here, and then this is your secondary header tag as a way to pull me in. Other things that I look at is your navigation menus. First of all, you don't need all of your social media up here. Social media can go down to the bottom. You also have a follow us, which looks like it goes to your Facebook. You already have that here. So I'm curious if you're actually on all of these platforms or if you just started them. I haven't visited them, so I don't know. But I would definitely move all that to the bottom and get rid of this extra follow us. I'm also looking at your banner up here. Happy Thanksgiving. You've already passed Thanksgiving. Do you still have your sale? Are you still offering 15% off? I also find this a little weird free shipping with $70.01 purchase. Maybe change that to say free shipping for purchases over $70. Maybe you've run into that in the past and that's why you have 0.01 cents, but it seems a little weird to me. One thing I would say though, this is distracting. This is too fast. So you have your banner up here. This is a slideshow. Slideshows don't convert. They have been proven time and time again that most people don't interact with them. It's going by too quickly for me to even pay attention. So I'm not prepared to know what to do with this. It's hard to tell if I can click on all of these. Do they all take me to you have a shop here, but I can't even click on that. That doesn't do anything for me. So what I recommend is instead of having this slideshow is to have a single banner that you're going to put up here. And you can use these other banners throughout your site or as you scroll down to different sections as a way to still show these images. But this one's probably my favorite actually. Can I pause it? No. See, I can't even pause it to look at it more. So, I can't see, I'm confused now. I just want to see what that image was and I can't figure out how to do that. So anyways, I don't recommend banners that are on a slideshow and auto-timed like this. Make it so it's a single one, don't have the rotating slides, and don't have them play so fast if you insist on having it. This one's probably my favorite. I think that it also ties into a little bit more of the scientific approach to it. And I think that, how you have up here, what you put on your skin matters. It's like you're not just putting a bunch of chemicals in it, it's plant-based. And so I like that sort of imagery. Okay, so I'm gonna keep scrolling because I do have an idea of what you're focused on. Obviously, natural skincare. So I'm curious to learn more. So I'm gonna keep going because as I mentioned before, I liked this piece. It made me curious about what those results you can deliver. So I'm going to see if I can find what those results are in here. As we go down, the latest science meets old world botanicals. So here's the thing. You have the latest science meets old world botanicals. That totally fits with this imagery. I'm also looking at this text here and it's white on a light gray background. It's really difficult to see. I would actually recommend that the latest science meets old world botanicals is tied to this imagery. So it makes sense. And you can still use natural, organic, vegan as a secondary header in this imagery if that's what you want to do. Okay. 100% vegan, made in USA. Free. Okay, so these are great. I wonder, there might be a better way for us to show this without just text. Maybe that is, using different icons, or I'm not sure. I'll keep reading, but there might be a better way to show this so it's not just text up here. Discover your modern complete beauty collection. Not sure what that means. Do you mean skincare, fragrance, and makeup is a beauty collection? I think that's what you're saying. Okay. So I would say we were doing pretty good up here with, this plant-based, I want to see these results. I liked that we were talking about science meets old world botanicals, but we didn't talk about what that science was at all. So I would love to see something about that in here to keep me on that mind frame, that set of mind. So let's keep going for a second though. So skincare, the best organic ingredients, the best skincare. Oh, the best organic ingredients make the best skincare. Florencia Monarch, heal, protect, and nourish your skin. This is nice. So you actually repeat yourself here, which is the same thing that you talked about up here. Florencia perfumes formulated with natural oils. So again, we talked about the science of things, but so far I'm not seeing that consistent throughout. We talked about scientific research here. And then we talked about all the different like benefits of, paraben-free, sulfate-free, but it's not continuing as we go on. So is it just your skincare that has scientific research behind it and it is free of all this stuff that no one wants? Or is it all of your product lines? Because now I'm confused about what that looks like. You also have, it looks like different spacing in here. It could be something to do with an image, or it looks like maybe this is aligned differently. These are aligned more center, these are aligned top. And then you have a different size button. So create that consistency. Consistency communicates professionalism. So making sure that every little detail is consistent is essential to that professional looking site. So it doesn't look like you're just some random person who threw up a website. Like, we want people to know that you're a legitimate business. Okay, bestsellers. Bestsellers are great because the first thing I see is all of these reviews. So that's awesome. One thing I would recommend is using consistency with your photo backgrounds. So these three have a white background. This one has more of a grayish background. It also has a more artistic imagery on this one than you do on the other three. So have these more uniform. So if you want them all to have this artistic photograph, then do that. If you want them all to have this style, then do that. I actually prefer this style, especially with cosmetics, because I want to be able to read it really well. And this one is a lot harder to read because of the angle that it's at. So we're going to come back to products in a second, but I like that you have your bestsellers here. The interesting thing too, though, is that it looks like it's all skincare for your bestsellers, and you don't really talk about your fragrance and makeup. So I'm curious, does that mean that your fragrance and makeup are not as popular, or are they secondary products? Like, what does that look like for you? Life is beautiful. We strive to make you feel and look great. This looks, oops, I didn't mean to actually open that. This looks like an image, and I'm not really sure why that's an image. It's just text. So when you have images like this that are just text, it actually can hurt your SEO more than if you just had text there. So what I want to look at really quickly is if you have alt text, and you do, nice job, great work there. So the fact that you have your alt text that says life is beautiful, we strive to make you look and feel great, that's perfect, because even though you're using that image, Google and other search engines can still read what that image is. So that is some great work there. Not everyone does that, so nice job. For the Instagram piece, I have feelings about having social media feeds on your website. I have a whole article and video about it. Here's the situation. When you have social media feeds on your website, what happens is that people want to click on that. So they get distracted and they want to go, I want to see what this 15% off is. I'm going to click on that, and I'm now on your Instagram page. And instead of me going back and looking at your site, I'm likely just going to go back to my Instagram and keep looking and get distracted by whatever my friend just posted. So I typically recommend that having your Instagram on your website like this is not ideal, because people by nature get distracted too easily. If you insist on having this on here, have one row. You don't need these 3 rows on here. You also have all your social links at the bottom. So as I mentioned earlier, you have them on the top, get them off the top, you have them on the bottom. If somebody wants to follow you or to learn more about you on different social media platforms, they'll come here to look for that. So you don't need to have it so that it is on your website also. Again, pet peeve of mine, many people may disagree with me. For me, the focus is going to be getting folks to engage further on your website and to dig in deeper so that they are on more pages because they get engaged with your website. If they click on one of these images to go to your Instagram, it's going to pull them away, and we don't want them to leave your website just yet. The other thing that I was just noticing, we have a couple different background colors here, which is nice, but they're not big enough or drastic enough to make a difference. So this one looks like a pinkish color. We have white. You have the green on the bottom. You also have this weird spacing because of your feed. And then on the top, we have this green as well. I would say try to make it so that it's consistent. Go ahead and do the all white background or do the all green background. If you're going to pick different color backgrounds, like even this one looks like it's a pink one. I like that it's subtle, which is nice, but my point is that it's huge. See how I can't easily see that we have green, white, pink? When I'm on here, all I see is pink or the pinkish color. So if you're going to change background colors, it should typically, or my preference is that it would be larger sections. So not where we have this small little banner here is a light color. If that's your only one, that's fine. But because we have this Instagram feed that takes up the whole width of your page, it's super clear that there's a difference in there. And for me, it just aesthetically doesn't catch my eye. Okay, so let's keep going down the page. We have your sign up for our newsletter. I think you don't need it to be capitalized like that. I would also pick a better call to action than sign up for our newsletter. I'm trying to remember now what the pop-up was for when we first landed on the page, but it's like, join our newsletter for 10% off and discounts. Like, pick something from there that's a little bit more engaging. Like, join our, it was a community thing that you had. I wish I remember what it was, but it was a community thing that you have. So, become a member of our community and receive discounts or whatever. You also have subscribed to our newsletter and always be the first to hear about what's happening. So if you're going to have this secondary text, it belongs up here, not underneath the bottom. If I go back up to the top here for a second, we have the About Us. You have a blog. Have you seen? I don't know what Have You Seen is, and awards, categories and ingredients. When I go to the bottom, you have shop, our story. So I would create some consistency around this. First of all, we don't need this to say navigation. There's no reason for that. Maybe this is an About Us header or like our company or something like that. And then take out shop because you have that here. And it'll be our story, which I'm guessing is your About Us page. And then you also have this blog, which is fine to have up top, but it's not my preference. And then you have you seen in awards. These don't need to be up here. These can be on the bottom. I don't know what Have You Seen is. Most people, to be honest, don't care about your awards. Put that at the bottom. Unless it's product specific, then it should be on your product pages of like, hey, we've won this award for this product. But most people aren't going to go looking to see that for you. Okay. Also, you can remove this Powered by Shopify. If you actually look at it, it takes them to Shopify. People don't need to know that Shopify runs your website. If anything, I would say it makes you look smaller than you need to be. So go ahead and remove this so that it looks like it's your own site. You manage it. No one else is you're not relying on anyone else to supply your website. Okay. So the second thing that I often look at with the homepage is it engaging? Do I want to click through and learn more about it? I feel like we lost our science feeling that you had in the top of this, and maybe that's not what you want your focus to be, but I just don't know that I want to click more. And I want to learn more about the science behind it because I am vegan and I do want to have healthy materials on my skin. So I'm like, I want to learn more about that, but I don't know how to do that. And I'm not sure which one I should click on to find more information about that. So I would be really curious, if you have any analytics around, where people are clicking. So if you're not using Hotjar, you can use Hotjar to find out where people are clicking, what they're engaging with, because I'm not sure that I see something that's pulling me in, that's making me want to click more. You can also look with Hotjar, you can look at it to see where they're clicking. You can look to see how far down the page they're getting. So it's a scroll map that tells you how far down they're actually making it before they either take action or go somewhere. But I'd be curious because I'm not totally sure what I would do with that information. The third thing that I look for is readability. And, I mentioned before about this having alt text. That's awesome. I'm really curious, for example, if these ones have alt text, which it does not. So you definitely want to make sure every image that you upload needs to have alt text, because it's not going to be super easy for someone who is using a screen reader, for example, to know what this image is it important, is it not? But also the more alt text that you have with your images that describe what's happening in that photo, then search engines use that to help you with your SEO. So alt text is equally important. I would also say, I'm really curious, that font size is really important. So it looks like your font size is around 15 pixels. That's great. I typically shoot for, and I'm looking right here, that's how I know it's, oh no, that's not. I want to see where's your text size? Oh, it's not labeled in here. So I typically shoot for 16 pixels. I don't know why it's not showing up. Or larger for your paragraphs, typically 16 or 18 pixels. And then for your headers, it should be larger than that. That's so funny that it's not showing me. And I could probably figure it out. I just don't want to dig in deeper on this call. So make sure that you're using at least a minimum of 16 or 18 pixels for your paragraphs. And then I typically do like a 20 or 24 starting with my headers. Okay, let me think about what else might be on here. So I talked a little bit before about the call to actions within your banners. I don't see very many things that make me want to move forward in the process. So strong call to actions is usually the fourth mistake that I see. I'm not seeing something that's super compelling. These reviews compel me to want to learn more about them. So that's great. But just saying shop isn't super compelling. So if you want to stick with the science piece of things, like learn more about how learn more is a bad term, but like see how we create our products using these scientific methods or something like that. But that's going to make me want to learn more about the product itself. These are fine for just shopping, but I would also say like you could add more collections on here. You had a whole bunch up here. So holiday specials, skincare, fragrance, makeup, samples. So we have our three main categories, it looks like, and then we have samples and we have gift card and gift wraps. So why are these two not called out on here as well? I'm curious why that's a choice for you. I want to click on holiday specials really quickly. So we still have our Thanksgiving up. I'm not seeing when that expires. So if that's no longer valid, you need to make sure that you remove it, because I would still assume that I can use 15% off. If it's not a Thanksgiving thing, maybe it's more of a holiday thing, then say that. When you're so specific about Thanksgiving, it forces you to have to take it down in a certain amount of time, and that can leaving it up can cause confusion. But also it could be where if you had too much traffic, which I know you mentioned you didn't have a ton, but if you had too much traffic, you could be out a bunch of money that you weren't expecting. So if you want to keep it going, great, then keep it on there, but then maybe change this to say happy holidays or something like that. But because it's very fall oriented, it doesn't quite speak to me as, the December holiday time frame. It's more of a fall. So maybe you could just say happy fall or something like that. I also would say we could expand a little bit more on this. You have images on here and just a couple pieces of text that's not super engaging. So I don't know that that's super exciting. I'm noticing now that you have use holidays and enjoy 15% off with purchase over $10. That was never set up here. And I don't remember seeing that before. So if you have a $10 purchase minimum, that was not clear. And we want to be really, really careful about that, because what could happen is that, I don't know if you have something that's for $5, but someone's like, oh great, I'll go try this out. You have samples, right? I'll try this out for $5 and get 15% off. Well, then they're bummed because they realize at checkout that they have to have at least $10. That wasn't communicated before. The other thing I wanted to look at really quickly, let's look at this have you seen. So it's just a bunch of YouTube videos. There's no text on here. Have I seen what? You have your titles on here, but some of them are actually really hard to see. Like if you look at this one right here, because you have text in your background on the actual video itself, it becomes really challenging to read what these, oh yeah, look at this. Look at what the header is or the title is. I can't read what that is. So I recommend that you build this out more of a page that describes why I should click on these. Like, did you use your moisturizer today? Yes? No? So what? What does it do for me? And maybe there's a paragraph that is like explaining why moisturizing your skin is beneficial. And check out this video for whatever you're communicating in the video. The other thing you could do with YouTube is put backgrounds on your videos so that it's easier to see the title of the video. Like for example, with this one, maybe it's not this wording. Maybe you just put an overlay so that it's more of a darker background that we could see the white text coming through. Okay, I want to go back to the home page and I want to click on a product. So let's go ahead and I'm going to pick on, let's look at a collection. Let's do shop fragrance. This is a lot of text happening to start. I'm really curious why you have your website and your logo on some photos, but not all. Are you worried that people are going to take your images? And if so, why are you so worried about that? Has someone done that for you? But it's not necessary to have that on there, in my opinion. But this is a lot of text up here, and it's just paragraph text. So there's nothing that's going to make me want to read it. Show me some headers. Tell me what this paragraph is about. We have also some inconsistency with our image sizes. So that's more of an aesthetic thing that we talked about before with professionalism. So making sure that these are all consistent. And the best way to do that is to upload the same size images for each one. So I love when I can do square photos. So I'm not having to depend on Shopify to resize my images. I'm already uploading square images for all of my products. And it makes it really, really simple so that they don't have to be resized. Because my guess is that some of these are probably more vertical or horizontal, and that we need to move these up. Okay, so these all look good. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure that I would create these to be a little bit easier to see, meaning that what's the title of the product that I'm looking at? I'm not quite sure. Like you have a mixture of the name, the collection, I'm guessing. Yeah, I don't understand. What's the name of the product? Like what? Like when I'm looking for this, what am I looking for with the name of the product? So let's be careful with that. I'm actually going to open this up because I'm curious So you have that, this whole thing is your name of the product. That's not your whole name of the product. This, I would say this is probably your name of the product. And then you have categories and you have a collection. Life is beautiful. So this is your product. That's it. That's all you need up here. The rest of it is excessive. I would also caution, it's hard to tell. I don't know what that means. Is that French? I don't know. So my first reaction is, oh, it's in a different language. And then I have to force myself to keep reading to realize that it is in English. So be careful what the order is here. Let's make sure that we're aware of that. Okay. So the general structure of the page is nice. It's pretty consistent with most Shopify stores, so that's good. I would reverse this. You have like this caution thing, first thing, instead of like why you should enjoy it and when to wear it. Maybe there's a reason why you have it up front. I don't know. But you could also break this out differently so that it's easier to follow. So I'm guessing these look like just bolded paragraphs instead of headers. So again, using headers throughout our site actually helps us to create blocks and sections that are easier on the eye. So the bolding solves some of that problem, but when it's part of the paragraph, it's easier to skip over. At least with this one, you have it on a separate line, but using your headings will make it easier because also people that use the keyboard to navigate through sites, they can't actually navigate through paragraph text like this. They're going to navigate through the headings. I don't think you need to have these share buttons here anymore. It's kind of an old style with websites where it used to be that's what you would do. Now people know that they could just go up to the URL and copy and paste it to where they want to go. So I don't think this is necessary. Reviews, great. Okay. You have some older reviews in here, 2014, 2013. So it may have been a while since you've sold this one, but when they're that old and you don't have anything new, I would be concerned why you don't have that. That's anything that's recent. Okay. Related items. Okay. I want to go look at skincare really quickly, and I am going to pick a product. Oh, sold out. Oh, but great job on this one. Notify me when the product is available. Nice job. I don't know if you have this set up, but make sure that you're also, when they hit send, depending on the app that you use, you can also ask them if it's okay if you add them to your normal email list. So if you have an email list, which you mentioned before, they're agreeing to join that as well. Okay. So let me go back because I don't want to look at one that's out of stock. Okay, quantity. It would be nice if you had it set up so that when I increase my quantity, the price changes here as well. That might be an app that you have to purchase if you don't already have it. The other thing that I wanted to look at, you had samples. Let's look at samples really quickly. So you only have 2 I think. Let me look at this. Samples of beauty products, looking for skincare. Oh, so they have to call you to get samples. Okay, this is not clear. So you have 50 cents each, but there's no price up here. It's also like each of these should be their own product, to be honest, because I don't know what I'm getting until I read it and that I have to specify the product that I want. Well, I don't know what I want. I'd have to go back. So you're forcing me to go back to look at all your products and copy and paste names for you so that you know what they are. Create in your products, in your skincare. So each of these has a variance. So you have different sizes. There's going to be this one that is 6 ounces, and then another variant that is a sample size, whatever that, a 1 ounce or half ounce, whatever that is. So add those as a variant, and then I can select that directly from here. Don't make me have to come in here to look at the samples to see that I can get them or not. So make those a variant as part of your products that people can select when they're looking at the product page. Very similar to this. And also you have size that's not appropriate. It should be the smell, right? Or the product type or something like, however you have them categorized, where it's the smell that they're selecting, not the size. 1 milliliter, okay. The other thing that I want to do is look at it on my phone. So I want to see really quickly what the experience is from mobile. And I also have this pop-up on here. I'm going to close that. So if you look, what we talked about is this banner image. Like, it's not even really a banner. It actually just looks like a weird carousel that has a whole bunch of padding on the outside. So I just don't love that feeling. It feels like it's kind of shrunken. Okay, so this all looks great. It does look like you have some weird spacing with those buttons again. I want to look at a product. Oops, too far. Okay. I'm going to pick one randomly. All right, so this is good. I can look at it. Can I zoom in? Yes, great. Okay. This looks a little bit funny on mobile, the way that your tabs are. It looks like it's not wrapping correctly. Okay. I also added something to my cart earlier, and I want to see how easy it is to change things in here. Okay. To $70. Why is this here? So you have, I agree with terms and conditions, and a note to you already. I'm not really sure why that's at this point. What am I noting to you? Can I check out? You must agree to the terms. Okay. So I like that you have a shipping calculator. Let's see if it updates appropriately. Calculate shipping rates. Okay, good. So shipping is not an issue, where it's $4.89 for me to ship it to Oregon. But, oh, I see. So I'm at $70. I need to be at $70.01, right? So let's see. Okay. So let's do Oregon. Perfect. So it does show $0 at shipping. So I can't check out unless I agree to the terms and conditions. So I'll go ahead and agree to that, but I don't know what I'm agreeing to. I can't. What am I agreeing to? Do you have terms and conditions? I don't know what I'm agreeing to. So this feels a little bit out of place to say that right here. I'm not sure why I would agree to it before I can see what I'm agreeing to. So I have to log in. I don't want to log in. Can I do it as a guest? Okay, so you need to allow guest checkout. There is no reason for me to have to create an account. just to make a single purchase. You can still have a guest log in and make a purchase, or not log in, but just make a purchase and still receive emails from you, because they would have to opt in when they're checking out. So allow for guest checkouts. There's no reason for me to create an account. Okay. So I think overall, if I go back to your product, some of the other things that I look for that I don't think we talked about is your descriptions. So you have really great description on your products. It's very clear to me. Like, I can see no more dry skin, no more dehydrated skin, no more thirsty skin. Oh yes, like you literally just spoke to me, woman. Like, that's awesome. I think these are great descriptors, good size content within this. And then plus you have all of these descriptors down here. You also have your ingredients, which is awesome. Yeah, these are great. Okay. So I think that your content is good on your products. I would say we probably have some work to do to expand more on your science side of things that you mentioned, if that's what you want to focus on. If that's not what you want to focus on, why are you talking about it? Oh, I just noticed something. I want to see if it'll go back. Okay, so this photo, like the text kind of lines up a little bit weird, but again, I'm not a fan of sliders. So anyways, I think that you could probably flesh out some more of why is Florencia VD so awesome? Like, tell me about that up front so that I know why I want to keep going on this. I did not look at your blogs, but I'm assuming that they're okay. And that there's nothing that's crazy on there. So looks like you update every once in a while. That's fine. But I think overall the content is generally okay. Your pages are responsive, so that's great. No real concerns with mobile, and that's as it should be. Any newer theme will have that for you. But the ultimate test that I think about when I would decide if the site, is good or not from a consumer standpoint is, do I sign up? Do I make a purchase, or do I want to sign up for your newsletters? The 10% off for your newsletter isn't engaging. I'm not super excited about that, so it doesn't really matter that much to me. But if I wanted to learn more about you and keep up to date on the scientific aspect or the vegan aspect, I might sign up for it for that perspective. I could see myself wanting to try some samples if it was easier for me to purchase those. So I would absolutely add those variants to your products and make it easier for someone to buy a sample. Or even better, create a sample pack. Create packages for somebody who maybe wants to have multiple choices to pick from, because then you're not spending 50 cents on a single item. You can actually create a package of your, you talked about your best sellers, right? So when we come back here, you can create a package for, the different steps that someone might take when they're washing their face, or I don't know, whatever. But create a package that's easier, that is, $5. That's not a sample that someone can buy of various products that might make them more interested to come back later. So all in all, I think, there are definitely areas that you can improve on. Nothing is so terrible that I think that's what's causing issues with customer checkouts. Aside maybe from the fact that you force someone to create a login, I would be curious where people are leaving. Are they abandoning their carts? Do you send them abandoned cart emails? I don't know. But are they coming back and just not checking out? Do they never add to their cart? How many people are engaging with you you have a lot of social media platforms, so how many people are engaging with you on your different social media platforms? How many people engage with your newsletters? How often do you send your newsletters out? I don't remember seeing that, but you could work on that one. So there are definitely some areas that we can improve on and see, like, we could test different areas. We can see which ones, if we change this, does that increase conversions? If we change that, does that increase engagement? How many people are clicking on multiple pages through your site? There's a lot of things that we can dig into here that might help and kind of go from there. So I've probably talked long enough for this, but if you have any questions or concerns on this, let me know. I would love to chat with you more about the website rescues and see if that's something that you might want to invest in. But if not, I've given you a couple of ideas where you can certainly come in here and make changes yourself and just test it out and see what works and what doesn't, because everyone is going to be different. So thank you again, Michelle, and I will chat with you soon.